All right, so this morning I really felt like the Lord dealt with my heart just to speak on forgiveness and speak to it from a place that we may not typically even think about. So the first thing when we think about forgiveness, like what is it and why does the Lord ask us to forgive? Anybody? Why does the Lord ask us to forgive?
Because he forgave us.
Because he forgave us. Best answer. So if he forgave us, it's a reflection of not just what he does, who he is. So if our identity is so grounded in who he is, and our identity is that he is in us, not that we are here with this human nature and God nature constantly in conflict, that through surrender, his life is fully manifest through us, and his life through us is the manifestation of Christ in us. The fullness of the living expression of Jesus through us means that our identity is fully grounded in who he is and not fighting to be who we think we need to be, who we thought, right? And so if our identity is so grounded in knowing that he is in us and that he loves us, then as we are approaching things, as we are, people have like wronged us or wronged people that we love, or you're flipping through, you're watching news that also like gets you infuriated because something is wrong and people are wronging other people. So no matter what it is, when it infuriates and stirs up your sense of rightness inside of you, that rightness inside of you cries out for like your own rights and your own rightness, and to declare, I'm right, they're wrong, they wronged me. And it is a cry, from the middle of the garden and the middle of our lives that says, who is really on the throne right now? So who is on the throne of our lives really does determine how we respond and not react when there has been wrong against us, our family, and the people that we love and identify with. So the first place to understand forgiveness is who is at the center of your life. When Jesus is at the center, and Jesus is truly the king, when he is truly the one on the throne, when he's truly the one who is the full definition and identity through our lives, then we respond with, God, not my will, but yours. We respond with a moment where we can pause and say, oh, God, this hurts. But God, show me your heart. Show me how to respond. And in the midst of it, he can shift our perspective. And there's two different spaces. One is when you're dealing with something from your past. Something that's done that's still lingering. The impact is still affecting you and your family or your situation. It can be something that you've done for which you can't forgive yourself. It can be something that happened out of control, and plenty of people blame God. I talked to somebody the other day. She had come in on a Friday night. She was very, very drunk and things, and she was just like, that is how she was covering her pain. It's how she was just covering her pain. And she had had so much loss. She had tried to bury herself into through drugs, through alcohol, and she was still in the midst of what she was burying herself in order to numb the pain. And people will find ways to numb the pain. And if you're a Christian, it doesn't exempt you from being the person that's still trying to numb the pain. You can pick up the phone, call a friend who's going to tell you how wronged you were, step into a place of sympathy with you, and just to kind of numb the pain. And you can find, yourself lost in social media, flipping through to find busyness and distraction just to find a way to bury yourself and numb the pain. So even no matter where you are. So this person, she had lost so many people. She had lost parents. She had lost a husband. She had lost people who were in her life. And she kept saying, why did God take them? Why did God do this? And so over and over again, what I run into is people who, one, can't forgive themselves. They're numbing the pain. Number two, they blame God for every bad thing. So what I challenge them is I'm needing to challenge your theology. I need to challenge what you believe about God, because nothing bad comes through God. On the seventh day, God said it was good, and he rested. So everything God did, everything he is out of his nature. It is love, and it is good. Everything that is not good, sin, death, sickness, shame, the abuse, the murder, all of it, everything that kind of came and corrupted human nature, the impacts that flow through the sinfulness of human nature, our choices, the choices of other people, and death itself, all came through the sin of one man. But it was all redeemed and restored through the one man, through Jesus. And so we're not here just to deal with the sin problem. We're here to become restorers. Because he's in us and he came to restore, he came to redeem. We are the ones who come to restore and redeem. And so our theology of God must be grounded in, if it's God, it's only good. Only good. But bad things do happen. They do. And so why, when people say, well, why would God protect this person from a near assassination, not protect this person? Why would God heal this baby but not heal mine, and mine died? Why? And so here's where I start with that. First of all, there is a purposeful tension through which we cannot fully answer. There is no theologian who can fully answer the question. We know that God is in control, but we know there are human choices, and there is an impact of sin on this world. We know God is not on the throne shaking his hands and rumbling and going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Whoa, I didn't see that coming. We know that. Psalms 2 says, God sits on the throne and laughs. He laughs. He sits over the flood, and that flood can represent the rebellion of humanity, right? So he sits on the throne and laughs because he's over it. He's over it. And in the midst of it is the free will and free choice. And that is a tension through which we must live. We have to be able to live in the tension of knowing that, and we cannot fully know, wait a minute, where does that start, that end? And so the conclusion is, if you have to know why something happened, if you have to know why God allowed something, whereas he didn't, if you have to know why in order to have faith in God, then it's not faith in God. There is a place in our pain where we have to surrender the why, okay? The only path to peace is surrender. And if you don't have peace because you have to wrestle with the why before God, and you won't have if you say, God, I'm not going to trust you until you tell me why. It is not faith. Faith is knowing he is the author and perfecter of your faith. Faith is knowing he is he is the rewarder of those who diligently seek him. He is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I have evidence that he's good and that nothing gets past him. And that while I don't understand everything, I have faith that he makes all things work together for good. That is his promise. He doesn't create sickness, but he does make all things work together for good. So in the year that I got a pacemaker and I had this heart issue suddenly crop up and put my entire life on pause, he didn't create a heart issue. He didn't say, I need to give her a near-death experience. It happened because when your emotional life is kind of, there's things that happen continually that affect. Trauma does live in the cellular makeup of your body. Trauma lives there. And when it's undealt with, it continues to fester and will crop up through many different medical issues. our bodies weren't intended to carry things that we carry. And so forgiveness and healing and heart healing release those things from ourselves. It is scientifically proven. This is not just theology. So here's where I want to start, and we will continue the series. Number one, our place of forgiveness begins in union with Jesus. And it is knowing that there are hard things in our life that have come that we must forgive. And I have had plenty of people say, I don't think I can forgive them. And I'm always saying, thank you for your honesty. Please give me somebody who's honest. I can work with an honest man or woman of God. I can work with an honest person. I can't work with people who are like going to live in deception and say, no, I already forgave them. Like you can't do anything. Like when you're looking at them going, no, you haven't. No, you haven't. All the fruit here says you haven't. So if you, no matter how hard it is, you come to the place of the cross where you see that the one who is in you hung when he was being brutally beaten and murdered. And he said, Father, I forgive them, for they know not what they do. And the one who is in you has already forgiven all things. The one who is in you has already forgiven and released. And the one who is in you is creating a new creation in you. And so the place of surrender to say, God, I know this is hard, and even though I don't know how and it's really hard, I will give you my want to. I will give you my will to. I will give you my surrendered yes, even when it hurts. And when you give him your yes, even in forgiveness, even in the hardest things, if you give him your yes, he gives you his ability and his grace. This is the first key. Actually, it's the second, because the first one was his life is in you. And his life must be at the center, because if you insist on being the judge, you're going to hang on to your right to be right. And hanging on to that right to be right is why you will not let go of that person and the offense. But if you will let go of the right to be right, and then you give Jesus your surrendered yes, then in forgiveness, he will give you grace. And as you release it, he not only gives you grace and healing, it's about what he takes out of you, and then it's about what he puts in you. He will deposit a strength and a truth that in his word, he'll release a word of himself. He will reveal himself through his word. And as he reveals himself to you and says, I am always your defender. I am always the one who surrounds you, and I always protect you, and you do not have to pick up self-protection. I am your protector. I am your defender. So he will, in the midst of that healing place, when you come face to face with him, he will reveal himself. He will expose any lie that you picked up in the place of pain. He will reveal his truth, and that truth will transform you, and the truth will overcome the world. That is how you become from one who is walking wounded to the one who overcomes. It is because of himself. What he places in you of himself will overcome the world. Amen. That's it. Love you all.